Hey, hockey fans, and welcome back to another edition of Puck My Life. I'm joined once again by Cody. How are we doing tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. Hockey's just about in full swing, so hard to complain.
I know this past week we went and saw the Red Wings take on the Blackhawks in a preseason matchup, which was really good. I was not expecting to see some of our favorite players out on the ice. I thought it would be a lot of the newer prospects and stuff like that, but I mean, even though we lost the game, it was definitely they put a good team out there, and I'm really excited for the future of the Red Wings. How about you?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think with the new coach, everyone's trying to prove their worth, and so it definitely made for a good preseason game. Probably the one of the better ones I've been to.
Yeah, and also too, it also makes me excited for the Griffins as well, because a lot of these guys, they're not going to make the full roster for the Red Wings, but they're going to go to the Griffins, and they're just going to develop even more. Which once they're ready, they're going to come up to the Red Wings, and I don't know, man. I Do you see a playoff run here within the next 1 to 3 years?
Ooh, run? I don't know about run, but playoffs within 3 years. I hope so. I feel confident. Not this year, but maybe next year. Definitely 3 years. Playoff run though, that's a whole nother story. I'd love it, but
Okay. Well, I mean, I would be happy if they made it to the playoffs because they've had a drought for how many years has it been now?
oh,
This
2016 is the last time, so it's
Yeah, so we're definitely due for it. But yeah, so enough of the Red Wings. Let's get on to tonight's game experience, where we witness the Calgary Flames, my team, the Sea of Red, take on the Winnipeg Jets on September 4th of 2019. We traveled to the Motherland, Cody. We traveled to the Motherland. And the Motherland, if you're not sure how far the Motherland is from us, it would take us 29 hours to drive out there, 1,700 and about 90 miles to get out there. So I did not have to do that. I actually flew into Edmonton. And I know you touched on this a little bit in the last video. If you haven't checked that one out, go check out our Oil Kings game experience. You can head over to the main page, check that one out. But Cody, you want to kind of give like a quick recap of how we were able to do this 3-game hockey road trip, and to where I didn't even have to drive out there. I was able to fly out there and meet you.
Yeah, so at the time, I was wrapping up a summer of working at Glacier National Park in northwestern Montana. So from where I was located in the park, to get to Calgary. It was about a 4-hour drive through the grasslands of Alberta.
Yeah, and it's definitely beautiful country up there. Like I said, this was game 3 of a 3-game road trip that we had. Actually, after this game was done, literally Cody drove me to the airport, dropped me off. I took a red-eye flight back to Detroit. It was a long night, but it was definitely well worth it to go see the Calgary Flames. And to be completely honest with you guys, I never actually thought that going and seeing the Saddledome and going to Calgary was going to be something that I was going to be able to do. I mean, this was so far away. I just didn't know how I would have the opportunity to do this ever since I've been a Calgary fan. I got to slow down because I'm starting to get a little teary-eyed here, because this was something, I mean, in all honesty, Cody, this is something that I really wanted to do. And I mean, this was definitely pre-COVID and everything, but it was something that I just, it's like being a fan of these guys for a long time. It's like never thought that I would get this opportunity, and it basically a dream came true on this trip. So they play in Calgary, Calgary, Alberta, and you can see here on this is the archway that goes into the arena. Sea of Red lives here, and if you look in the bottom left hand side of that, there's Cody whipping around in a Lime scooter. If you're in the Calgary area or downtown Calgary, I would suggest getting one of those scooters and whipping around. I mean, we did like 10 miles on those suckers in the couple of days that we were there. Had a wonderful time. Calgary is a beautiful city. Even if you don't go for a hockey game, I would strongly suggest going and checking it out. They play at the Saddledome, which the Saddledome, I believe, Cody, because I think we got rid of a few other arenas, is the Saddledome currently the oldest barn in the NHL, active barn in the NHL.
I think Madison Square Gardens has it beat.
Okay.
Um, but I think
Definitely in
it's
Canada, it's the oldest one
oh,
that's
definitely,
actively
yeah.
used.
It's
Yeah.
definitely top 3 oldest in the league, if not top 2.
Yeah, and we've also heard reports too that they might be getting a new one sometime downtown, but it's to be seen. They're having financial issues and stuff with the city and whatnot. But it's a really cool building. We got down there really early. We were able to go around the arena, check some stuff out. So the reason why I showed this photo is because not only does the Flames play there, but you got the Hitmen, and I think that's the Rough Riders play there too. It's their arena football team. And then now, since as of a couple months ago, the Stockton Heat are now the Calgary Wranglers. So now the Wranglers was, so we have 3 hockey teams sharing one building. So if you find some way to make it out there this season, try to look and see if you can somehow finesse a way to see all 3 teams while you're out there. I think that would be an incredible epic trip. Even if you have like a day or two in between, you can always run up to Edmonton, catch a game or two, and there's plenty of the WHL teams that are in the local area as well. But was definitely excited to come here and check it out. And then also too, this city they have it's like a lot of ranching and rodeo and stuff like that. Just really cool mural, because like they literally have like parades down the street that me and Cody were took our Lime scooters down. So it was
July, they
really
do have
cool.
a 2-week rodeo, the Stampede Week. The whole town smells like a cow patch.
Yeah, and we did not go that week. And here's the inside of the Saddledome. Tons of seating. One thing I wish we would have done that we did not do is I really wanted to go up and see, because the way that the Saddledome is, where it gets high on those ends, I mean, there's seats that go way up almost to the rafters in this building. I would have liked to have gone up there and just seen what the vantage point was from up there, but we didn't go up there. We had really good seats, and you'll see that here shortly. And then this is a panoramic view that I took from our seats for the night, and I was actually overcome with emotion when I walked into this building. I just was so excited to be there. All right, so the first thing that we like to talk about when we get into these game experiences is the parking. And so one cool thing about the Saddledome is that it's just outside of downtown. It's kind of like on the edge. And then they have a lot of their own parking lots right around there. Now, Cody and I, we did not use their parking. We actually just took the Lime scooters in and out of town, which was really cool. And so we didn't take advantage of that, but it was like $15 parking, and you just paid the attendance, and it was all for the arena. So everything went right back to the arena. All right, next up is tickets. So I actually am not going to show the ticket stubs that we had, because we actually paid a little more for the seats because of where we were at, but it was also preseason and Winnipeg was in town. But here's a game that I just picked out for next month. So Thursday, October 20th at 7:30, you can go and check out and see the Buffalo Sabres in town. And these prices aren't too bad. I believe that this was U.S. Prices. It didn't say CAD on it or anything. So, I mean, you can see it's a pretty big building where you see up there in the PL section. That's that really high part where it arches up. So, like I said, we didn't go up there, but I would assume that if you have any sort of difficulty with heights, I would not go up there. I would try to go down to that's like the third bowl. Like that's the outer bowl, you know? And so, yeah, so I would just stick to the parts of the arena, but it definitely had good viewing angles all the way around. All right, next up is merch. So they did have like a regular team store. This team store was actually, I think, Cody, you're going to talk about this here in a second when you talk about your puck, but this is a team store that you actually have access to during the week, if I'm not correct, right? Mm-hmm. And you want to kind of talk about your puck and how you got it and what the story is behind that.
Yeah, so I actually, since I was living in northwestern Montana that whole summer, I actually ran up to Calgary in July. It was actually during Stampede Week in July, and so I went up to the team store, and as we mentioned, you can access it pretty much year-round on game days just from outside the arena. And so At the time, it was nice. They had a bunch of stuff on clearance. They're getting stuff out from the previous season because they're getting ready for the upcoming season. And so I picked. I mean, I got a hat, a couple hats and stuff were super low, and then I picked up this puck here. So this puck was kind of neat because it was from their playoff series. It's a warm-up puck that was used during their playoff series in 2019 against the Avalanche. And so earlier that spring, I was in Denver during that playoff series and was able to do a tour of the Pepsi Center actually during that playoff series. So I thought it was kind of cool to, since I was able to visit both stadiums kind of in a close time frame, to get a puck that kind of commemorated both of those stadiums. So thought that was neat.
Yeah, and also too, this exact what am I trying to say? This team shop is actually outside of where you actually scan to get in for your ticket. So you could go and check this out prior to them actually even opening up to let people in for the night as well. So this is the puck that I ended up getting, and this is the official team puck. I think this was actually my first one that I got, and the price wasn't too bad. It's kind of faded there on the back, but it was $16.99, including the case, which is a really good price. One thing that I wish that I would have got while I was there was one of the pucks for the mascot, because I kind of started collecting a few of the mascot pucks. And then I still have my bag from when I went to the Saddledome, because I did buy a toque, but I could not find that before the game. And then they also had a few little kiosks around the arena, and they had, like Cody was saying with his stuff, they had clearance stuff. So I actually have not worn this stuff yet, but it was $20 Canadian, normally $40, so half off. I got this Adidas t-shirt, and then I got one more t-shirt. Plus, I also got a t-shirt from my mom and my dad, which they already have those. They're in their closets already. And then this other Calgary Flames shirt as well. And this one I think was a little bit cheaper. Yep, this was $17.50, regularly $35. So not too bad on the merch selection there. I really enjoy that. One thing I do wish I would have got was a jersey, which Cody, I believe you're wearing the jersey that you bought when you were in Calgary. And which one did you get?
I got an Adidas Johnny Gaudreau jersey. So unfortunately a little outdated now, but proudly bought at the Saddledome.
Yeah. And if I would have got a Monahan jersey, and that would be outdated now too. But it was the merch was really good all the way around. Even at the clearance kiosk that they had, there was still like a big selection there. So they had tons of jerseys. One of the best selections I had seen in a while. All right, next up is their concession. So a lot of the same stuff. Recently, we have been covering a lot of the Canadian experiences that we've been on. So Pizza 73, Tim Hortons. There was some bars and stuff around. The concourse, you can definitely tell it is dated. It's not as big and as vast as some of these other ones, and very open like some of the new arenas. So this is definitely dated, but still had lots of character. It kind of like the feel of it being an old building kind of reminded me of like stepping into the Joe. Because
I was going to
Joe
say
was
an
old arena. This was an old arena, so it kind of had that old time hockey vibes.
That old barn feel, yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Isn't
it
in
was
the
nice
NHL much anymore.
Yeah, it was nice to kind of take a step back, and who knows? The next time we go into Calgary, this may be there. This may not be there. You can also see that there was, there's little kiosks around. They just had Haagen-Dazs one. I mean, there was good selection. I felt like the prices were pretty good here. Not as expensive as Edmonton, but still pretty good, all things considered. Next up is Atmosphere. I am going to show you guys just a quick little clip of what it was like in the arena for us when we first sat down and got our seats before we get into the next part of the segment. So enjoy. So yeah, so it's a pretty big building, and we weren't really sitting that far away from some of my favorite players. I mean, you can see Johnny Gaudreau right there, and then Monahan right next to him. I mean, we were right there for warmups. The previous one of the previous games in this trip, we actually sat on the ice. This one we were a few rows up, but still we had really good seats. And this was just, I believe this was just before the national anthems and all that kind of stuff. And you can see the ref out there running around. So there was a decent amount of people there for a preseason game, and it was nice to finally be part of the Sea of Red. I said it a few times, and I'm saying it again. It was so exciting to be here. Calgary, you guys crushed it. I'm excited for this season for you guys. And Winnipeg was the team that they were playing against that night, and I can't remember what the final score was. I know Calgary won, but I can't remember what the final score was. But it was a great game all around, and it's just a beautiful old building. I hope to someday come back to this arena if it's still there. If not, I will definitely be excited to see whatever they come up with in the future. And yes, guys, we do go to these games, just showing you guys some proof in case you're just thinking that we're pulling your legs. That's us there just before warm-ups at center ice. All right, so as far as a puck score goes, I gave him a 9 for parking, 10 for tickets, 10 for merch, 9 for concessions, and 10 for atmosphere. Cody, do you have any thoughts on what I gave them for their puck score?
Yeah, I agree. I think especially atmosphere, like it's an older building, but to me that's like the charm of it. Especially being a Wings fan, growing up going to the Joe, we're losing a lot of those old hockey barns that kind of have that old feel like that, and especially with the Coliseum out in New York gone now too. So I don't remember though. Do they have the true staple of an old hockey barn? Did they have the trough urinals there? I can't remember.
I want to say they did.
I wouldn't put it past that building.
If you know, go jot down in the comments, because I don't even remember if I used the restroom when we were there, to be honest. But yeah, they might have. I mean, yeah, if that's how we're gauging it, yeah. We'll guys, drop that in the comments if you guys know. You don't have to send us pictures or anything, but just let us know if that is the case. So, but yeah, so. All right, so we'll jump on to the wow factor, X factor. I gave them a 3 out of 10 because it's an older building. They're not necessarily a super old franchise, but I just felt like the whole experience all around. I know there's a little bit of bias there. I was trying to, dim that down a little bit because I am a Flames fan, but I still gave them a 3 out of 3 for the wow factor, which gives them a total puck score of 51. So what are your thoughts on the total score? You think that this is just really encompasses what it was for you?
I could definitely see your bias in the wow factor. I'd give them a 2 out of 3 on that, because definitely I love the old barn, I've said. And then
Okay.
I mean, like we mentioned, I mean they packed the house for a preseason game, and that's definitely worth something. I've been to a handful of preseason games and never seen a crowd that big for one. So kudos to you, Calgary.
It was definitely a wonderful experience. We look forward to being back sometime, and we can't wait to visit. All right, if you guys want to mark your calendar for the upcoming month, I didn't tell Cody about this before, but this is a photo that we took, or actually Mark took as Mark, Tom, Cody, and myself were walking up to Little Caesars Arena. He just pulls out his phone and takes that selfie while we're walking. And I was telling him that I had this idea to do this, and I'm like, wait, what a perfect picture to use for this. So I photoshopped this before but yeah, mark your calendars, guys, for this month. If you see some of these dates that are marked, we are going to Canada next week. The funny thing is that we were actually Cody, I'll let you explain this. You want to explain what happened and how we ended up actually adding 2 extra games that if you would have asked us this time last week, we would have had no idea that we were doing?
Yeah, we some of the Canadian borders opening up a little not a little bit, quite a bit more, and so that definitely is letting us all have access to the wonderful hockey in Canada. So we've got we've been wanting to hit Montreal for a long time, and so I think we finally are just kind of real quickly pulling the trigger, and we're driving out to Quebec.
Yeah, and it's gonna be what, a 9 to 10 hour drive, I think. And we're gonna be seeing the Armada the next night. So we're gonna try to break the trip up. We're gonna leave a little bit earlier on, or later in the evening on Monday. Try to get about a third of the way there, then finish it out the next day, so we can have a little bit of time to kind of get familiar with the area before we go to the Canadiens game. And then the next day we'll spend a full day in Montreal checking that out. Then we'll go out and see the Armada. And then Thursday, we'll probably do a few little things in the area in the morning, and then the long trek back. But also, too, tomorrow night in Ann Arbor, Michigan, I will be going to Yost Arena to watch the University of Michigan play the Windsor Lancers with my buddy Cam. So we're going to be checking that out. Also, the following week after the Armada on Thursday, the 13th, Mark and I will be going to the first ever home game for the Motor City Rockers. It's still not 100% confirmed if we are going to the Firebirds game or not. I don't know who's all going, if it's Mark and I, if it's Mark, me, and Cody. I don't know who's all going to that one, but we kind of put that on the calendar tentatively. And then my wife and I are going out to Wisconsin to visit some of her friends at the end of next month. So the plan is to go either Friday night or Saturday to the Wisconsin Badgers, but it is looking like more or less that we're going to go Saturday night and see them, and then come back on Sunday from Madison, Wisconsin. So that's what we got going on for next month. I know that Mark is actually going to be on the 29th. He's going to be in Detroit watching the Wild play the Red Wings. So that's pretty much like the only thing that he's doing that's different than what I'm doing. But yeah, so that's you guys, if you're going to be in the area, let us know and come say hi. And if you also want to see some of the other stuff from some of the other games that we're going to, if you want to see live stuff when we're in Montreal or we're at the Armada or even Michigan tomorrow night, head on over to Instagram, look up at Puck My Life. Check us out. We have the different banners. We're actually going to be adding the QMJ HL banner, which I'm super excited for, because I had no idea. Like at the start of the season, if you would have said that we would be going to a Q game, I would be like, you're full of crap, man. Like, to be perfectly honest. And then we're going to be adding the Federal Prospect League banner. And then tomorrow night, I will be adding the NCAA banner for us. So come check us out on this wild and wacky ride. I'm not sure where we're going to end up all this season. I mean, we literally Cody and I just figured out that we were going to do this like within the last few days to go to Canada. So who knows who we're going to see the rest of this year. Maybe you'll see us in Vegas. I don't know. But that wraps it up for tonight's game experience with the Calgary Flames. Cody, do you have anything else that you'd like to add on anything from the experience to where we're going to be going, some of the trips, anything before we wrap things up?
I'm excited that we went to the other night to our first game of the season, and so we're getting warmed up. We got lots of hockey to see this year, so I'm just excited for especially once the regular season starts and they really start hitting.
Yeah, and I am super stoked for next week. We got fortunate with Cody's work schedule and my work schedule as well that we could make it out there on short notice, and we are taking full advantage of this. I know the crazy thing is we're going to be in the car for 20 hours to go to watch 2 hockey games, but we don't care. We love hockey that much because we do this all for the love of hockey, that we're willing to go and do something like that just to go and knock these teams off our list. And did you also notice, Cody, that once we go to that game at the Bell Center on Tuesday night, that will mark our 10th NHL arena that we've each been to? That is number 10.
Wow, that many. They're adding up.
There'll be 10, because the only difference between Cody's list and my list is that I've been to Tampa and Cody has been to it's the Ball Center, right?
Yeah, Ball Arena now.
Ball Arena. Yeah, Ball Arena. So, yeah, so maybe we might go to that this year. I don't know. It would be awesome if we could. So there's a lot of things in the works for the upcoming season. The season hopefully a lot of these teams that we haven't seen yet go deep into the playoffs, so we can go check out some playoff games. I know I did that last year with a few teams, so that kind of extends things out a little bit. And since we already saw a game in September, and then, with the playoff extension, we might be watching hockey for the next 8-9 months. Who knows? But there's definitely a lot of hockey out there to see, and we're going to try to see as much of it as we possibly can. So we appreciate everybody for stopping by, checking us out. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Also, you can message us over on Instagram if you'd rather do that. And that does it. And we will see you guys in the next one. I'm not sure exactly when that'll be. We will be taking most of next week off because we will be in Montreal. So we'll be on sometime here soon. We're going to start, after next week or tomorrow night and next week, we got 3 more game experiences that we have to add to the list. So that's putting us back up at like 10 again. So we're trying to get caught up as quickly as we can so we can do the other stuff a little closer to the time that we actually saw them. So stay tuned with us. Enjoy the ride. You guys have a great evening, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.